Our next speaker is Dr. Aseel Addawood. If you could ask her to come forward. She is an AI and data analytical advisor for the Ministry of Energy, experienced data scientist, and has made contributions to research, publications, training, as well as coaching and mentoring. Aseel has a PhD in informatics from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and a master's degree in engineering from Cornell. She has previously acted assistant professor at the College of Computing and Informatic Science at Imam Mohammed bin Saud University. So Aseel, the floor is yours, please, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, everyone, for hosting us today. So I'm going to pull everyone from the technical side of talking about AI energy and focusing on a different topic, very important topic, very dear to my heart, actually, which is developing talent, actually, in AI in general and AI in energy for specifically. Before joining the ministry, I'm a new joiner actually to the Ministry of Energy. Before joining, I was working with Oracle as a technical advisor in AI and analytics. And when I was there, I was actually working as a technical part or side of joining deals with customers, etc. And we have been going around with all the ministries, private sector, government sector, and talking with all of CTOs and all of the technical department about their issues, how we can sell them our products, actually, and all of that. And we were trying to find how we can sell them, but actually also how we can help them better solve their issues or see what the issues they have. The one very important thing that we have seen all over is, of course, data issue. We have seen that all over. So all of these entities always have an issue with data, but the most important thing that also they have is talent. The lack of talent of understanding how to utilize this data and to move it into an AI solution or an AI application, etc. And looking into that and understanding that issue, we cannot solve it in Oracle, but of course I can solve it somewhere else. And that's why I have been looking into this topic very clearly and very deeply. And when looking deeper into this topic, I found a study looking into that actually 1 billion worldwide workers, not students, will have to be reskilled by 2030. There is two terms, reskilling and upskilling. So reskilling is I need to train people in a different skill to do a different job. While upskilling, I need to help them upskill their skills that they already have. And this is a really big number. And when looking into the half-life of skills, and back in the 60s maybe, we have fishermen. They can be a fisherman all of their life. But in these years, you cannot be one thing in your whole life. You have to change your skills. And this number is actually decreasing by the number of years. And by 2030, we might have only 6 months. And then we have to revamp and be upskilled or reskilled, actually, for different skills that we have. And that's why we have seen people actually, when they graduate, they might need to change their major or try different skills, get a MicroMaster, and all of these new degrees that we see and new certificates that we are seeing right now. And actually 78% of executive leaders right now are actually considering that there is a skill gap they cannot address in the job market And these leaders are not able to address these gaps, and these skill gaps for people who are actually working in the market. And all of these are for skills in general. When we look deeper in the energy sector itself, SPE, which is the Society of Petroleum Engineers, have done a study on their members, and they have found that most of their members in the energy sector are above 55 years old. So they're an older generation in the energy sector. There is no a younger generation. And a study by EY have done found that 62% of Generation Z is actually saying that career in oil and gas is unappealing, and they think that this energy or the energy sector is actually dangerous. So they are not going to the energy sector and not entering the energy sector, even though it's needed. They are looking into other sectors. Technology is one of them, of course, and we will look into that in a bit. And when we look at that part where there are gap in skills, where there's people not entering the energy sector, and looking into the technology sector, we found there was a really big growth from between 2018 to 2023. There is a growth on not just developing emerging technologies, and we are seeing a lot of technology advancement right now. We are actually seeing growth in using the technology and developing the technology. Researchers are actually developing a lot of new technologies, and the products are developing each year. How many data analytics solutions have raised since just the 2 years back? And how many AI solutions, now ChatGPT, how many applications have been developed since ChatGPT we have seen it live? Now there is a travel agent. Now you can book your travels or do your homeworks. You can do a lot of things just with one technology. And then, so with that growth of emerging technologies, we can see it from a positive and a negative side. When you see it from a positive side, this is really good. It's going to develop us, develop the economy, develop the community. From the other side, the problem is we don't have enough people to actually capture this growth and capture developing such technologies. And when we focus on one thing, which is automation, building RPAs or building technologies or automating jobs. One study shows that automation will change how 60% of occupation do their work. And we know how the jobs of white and blue collars will change over time. We know that AI is not replacing jobs, but actually it's going to enhance job market and enhance the job creations, etc. But with the increased growth of that, how we can increase our skills and increase our adaptation of these technologies. And when looking into automation, the first thing that comes to mind is AI technologies and developing AI solutions. And one fascinating thing that I have been always looking at, comparing when I was studying in the US and then coming back to the Kingdom, is how many people or how many students are interested actually to join STEM fields. And when looking into that comparison, we see here in the Kingdom, the numbers actually of people who are interested to join the STEM fields is higher, especially from female side. It's almost equal, so 49 to 49%. And then when comparing that to the US, we see a very decreased number of females joining STEM fields comparing to males. And here we can find that, like, in each way, we can find the differentiation of how to retarget or resolve the issue that's happening. So for example, in here, in the Kingdom, our issue is how we can activate the female graduating from STEM fields to the job market, and how to skill them to be ready for the job market. The percentage right now is around 20% for women joining the job market, but actually in the technical domain, but actually only around 5% actually doing technical jobs or actually working on STEM domains. Mostly are working on other things not related to technology. But when looking into all of that, the question comes to mind is how we can help people integrate AI with other domains. Since automation is going to change the job market, and we know that it's happening, and we know that when looking at AI as a domain of experience and as a talent, as a skill, it can be integrated with any domain expertise. So if you have people in the social sciences, in of course social sciences, marketing, business administration, etc., health, all of that, we can always reskill them to be able to develop their new skills in their domain. And to be able to help with the generation of reskilling or filling the gaps that we have seen, looking into the skill gap that we see, the growth of emerging technologies and AI, and the utilization, the continuous reliance on AI technologies, and also the decrease of people joining actually energy sector, we can first find solutions on how we can fill the gap of skills in the energy sector, utilizing AI technologies, and also we can find a couple of solutions. So in this slide, I've combined many observations, many things that we can look at, and one of very important thing is revamping the ecosystem. So we need to look at how we can build new products, how we can build new services in the energy sector, new companies, new skilled roles, so people can be integrated to join or be more willing to join the energy sector when it's connected to AI and, for example, a couple of new skill set or skill roles, digital engineer or drilling data scientist or rig automation supervisor, etc. And all of these names are actually made up names of jobs. They are not actually, we haven't seen them yet, but that's what we have to see in the future for these jobs actually to be created and for people actually to be specialized in certain domains. So the one thing to do is, even if we have new skilled roles, is to have more clarity in the job description and the skill needed for that. One of the stories that I always listen from my data scientist or AI engineer friends, that they are called to an interview, and then the person, for example, a data analyst or AI engineer or whatever, and then the first question, do you know Excel? Like, come on, this is not related to what I do. I'm a programmer, I have a coding background, etc. So the clarity of job descriptions and clarity of skills needed actually for skilled people have two issues. Is we are turning people from skilled technical people into maybe project managers or people who are just working on projects from a very high level overview. And that takes us actually to the other points when looking into the new generation. The new generations right now, when I look at them, I'm saying like I have to keep up my speed in learning new technologies. I always say we are not interviewing them, they are interviewing us when we talk with them. They are very skilled, they are very well known with the technology, they are technology savvy, they learn skills very quickly. Actually, when I look into my son and looking how technology savvy he is, and he's only 8 years old, and comparing to myself, like, I don't know what you are doing, but hopefully this is a good thing. And looking into all of this makes us worry how we can help them, actually helps us in the industry. And also a continuation of all of that is having the in-house capabilities to remain in-house. I have seen this a lot when looking into all of the private and public sector, that even if we want to raise the number of technical people in the kingdom, we need to actually give them technical jobs and not outsource all of the technical capabilities to other companies offshore or that are global companies. So all of that will help increase the capabilities that we have. Another thing, looking into the students itself, when the fresh grads or the fresh entries to the job market, is tailoring their learning journey, and this not actually starts from the job description itself or from the job market itself, but actually since they are in their undergrad studies, is how we can help them tailor their learning journey, add more technologies, add more techniques, or actually specify how you can, if you have a background in AI, how about, or a background in energy, how you can combine AI with that. So when you graduate, you are ready to be able to solve and enter the market very quickly. How we can tailor their learning journey through that. Another thing we can do is to empower the high-tech talent with accessing new technologies. For example, when we came here, we have our team done a lot of tours through multiple labs with really great high technologies. And if we can share more of these high technologies and new advancements in the domain, we'll be able to have them. They are a very fast learner, so it would be very great to have them, to empower them with this, with understanding the utilization of such new technologies. The other thing that's sort of related to how we can solve the issue of less numbers in the energy sector is to have the industry to be more attractive to the new generations. How is that? Is just to join technology or AI specifically to the new jobs. For example, drilling data scientist. This is I really like this, and I think it's one of the things that can really thrive in the upcoming years into how we are looking into integrating emerging technologies with energy sector in general. Another thing to solve the issue of in the energy sector is the brain drain, or I call it, or we can call it how we can solve the issue of having older generation having all of that knowledge in the energy sector and not having enough people to get that knowledge and share that knowledge with others. We have really experienced people in the domain of energy that it's not enough to have them retired, especially after the crises that happen. Many people are retired and all of that, is to have an AI model that can be built as an expert system to gather all of this information and save it for the new generations to utilize such information. And with all of these, and I know when someone look at this issue as a topic, a lot of many other solutions can be gathered actually to fill such gap, and looking into empowering all of these new generations and to revamping the sector itself and the energy sector with utilizing AI is one of really important matter to all of us. And when looking into how we can join AI with any domain experience that we have, especially in the energy sector, we'll be able to solve one of the main issues is how to attract and bring people to that. And we know that the future is all about integrating and being very have not just a very high level understanding of technologies, but actually have a very deep knowledge of the sector itself and the technologies itself. And for that, when going back to all of these issues and how it was solved or we are trying to solve it in the Ministry of Energy is a new center, not very new, but in the past 2 years, a dedicated AI center for energy was established to drive the AI value, promote sustainable, innovative AI, and it was in the collaboration with SDAIA, which is the Saudi Data and AI Authority. And the goal of such center that was developed is to be able to become the global AI benchmark for AI-driven innovation in the energy sector, and also focusing, and my job role actually is focusing on helping new talents to rise, to thrive the ecosystem through startups, companies, help people integrate more technologies and utilize AI in the energy sector. And when looking into a bigger the bigger goal of not just the center, but also the kingdom is looking into the National Strategy of Data and AI, that by 2030 we would like to have more industry leaders in the domain. And looking into that, the strategy is looking into Vision 2030 is to have more than 20,000 data and AI specialists and experts. And this is a really big number, since we need to have part of these to be AI and energy experts, actually, not just AI and AI specialists and experts in general. And to be able to do that through the center, through the filling the gaps that we have and the technologies that we see throughout, and we can share with with the new generations, we'll be able to create this move of actions and changes that will be able to do that. And coming into here and talking with all of very highly educated people in here, I don't think this is only my mission. I think this is the mission of all researchers and people who have the technology or have the technology background and have the access to the technology and the development of all of this, all of this in this domain, is for all of us to be able to change the community and to be able to actually move from the status that we have right now, through filling the gaps that we have, to be able to reach a number like that throughout not just the kingdom, but actually all over the world, because these gaps are actually available all over. From here, I end my presentation, and I'm happy to have any questions.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Dr. Aseel. The floor is open for questions. Please wait for the microphone. And it would be good to state your name and where you're coming from.
So, hello, can you hear me? So thank you very much for your talk. I'm Mujtaba Shams. I'm a MS student here at KAUST. My question is that I see that there's a goal for the number of talent that the kingdom is trying to acquire to fill this gap. So if we reach this number, will we have sufficient talent in the kingdom? And if it's not, when do you think, from your own perspective, when do you think that we will fill this gap inside the kingdom?
Okay, so the Vision 2030 is looking at to have more than 20,000 experts and specialists in the domain. Will we be able to fill the gap by that time? And if it's filled by that number, we'll be able to fill the gaps that are actually available in the kingdom. In my own perspective, I see that the need for more expertise is growing every day. Why? First, we have also Sadaya has the acquisition or the access to asking for more data offices to be opened all around the kingdom in all government sectors. So we'll need experts to fill the gaps of data experts or data privacy and data governance experts. That's from one side. And then the matter right now is that a lot of institutes, either government or private sector, are working on their data to have better data, more quality data. And then I remember when we have been talking with them about building AI solutions in the domain, the issue was, this is very highly reached. I'm not looking into building an AI solution right now. Let me just fix my data first. So by that time, I think we will need even more than that, because everyone will have the understanding that, okay, now maybe I'm ready. If the institution is ready ready with data, they will need more experts to work with their data to build AI solutions.
Okay, please.
Alain de Champlain, Université Laval in Canada. You did not mention about the importance of salary in the whole picture, because if I take an example for us, certainly for teachers, where they were not attracting, and then whenever they boosted the salary, then people started to come in again and fill the good jobs for teaching. So I see that it's certainly a critical in my career development, where the salaries were good.
I totally agree. Salary is really important. I didn't include it because already salaries for technical people in the kingdom is really high. It's very competitive already. I was an assistant professor and I quit academia, but because of salary. One reason is salary, but other reasons. I was an assistant professor for a couple of years, and I recently quit and joined the Ministry of Energy. And I'm doing the same education, but I totally agree. It's a really very good reason for people to actually go to other areas.
And for what we see as probably unattractive jobs now for younger people, but AI is as pertinent to use in the energy sector, and it's a critical area for the kingdom, as you see, and for us also in Canada, it's very critical. So, but
I totally agree. I totally agree about that.
Thank you.
It's true. Sell the idea to.
Thank you. I'm going to take the privilege to ask a few questions. All these numbers you're quoting, what's the source of these numbers? Well, you're saying 68% of managers don't know how they're going to fill the quota. Where are these numbers coming from?
Some of the studies are from consulting companies like EY, McKinsey, etc. One of the studies is from SPE itself, which is the organization that have energy, where they say that most of their members are actually above 55. So they actually release these numbers. The one related to the number of Generation Z is for a study from EY.
Okay. Because I didn't see the references, so I didn't know exactly where they're coming from. Is it biased towards the West or the US or Europe, or is it really global?
It's global, yes.
So
looking into the global numbers and looking into how we can mitigate this. Yes.
Okay. So energy is usually dealt with by engineers. And we want these engineers to become also, in between brackets, computer scientists who understand IR and algorithms and so on. So who do you want to upskill? And is there a risk that I don't need to understand it because the AI algorithm is going to give me all the answers and they're smarter than me? Where is this balance between reality check and between relying on algorithms to make decisions?
It's a balance. Again, as you said, looking into the experience of the expertise of AI engineers, for example. I always say that you will always need, for example, for me, all my career, I have a technical background, computer science, etc. And then in my PhD, I focused on social sciences. I took courses in NLP, on linguistic, etc. So I always ask people to, if for me, I would do the opposite. If I'm not a technical person, I would go technical all over. And this is my advice for anyone that I have seen in my career, or if I mentor. I always say, if you have a non-technical background, learning technical in your career will help you a lot. Have the technical depth, because you can learn that through practice, and also be able to create your own momentum in a way or another. Looking into energy sector, one of the things that we are looking into as an option is to have energy or engineers, petroleum engineers, for example, and give them the skills of how to utilize AI in their domain. So combining these two, not taking technical people and give them the background of energy, but the opposite is to take actually people who have the energy sector background and give them the skills. In that way, they will have the balance of having the technical background and also the domain experience background to be able to either create solutions or identify new technologies in the domain.
Well, thank you very much for this. It's a good time to stop. Please join me in thanking Dr. Aseel again.